Hi, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your NBA Hump Day Wednesday, the 12th of November. We're going to have 12 games. So, big card today. We've got all you need to know about the NBA. Hey, you want to get in on our best plays, though? We've got a couple specials. One, you can use that 15% off promo code. Use the promo code BIGWIN15, saves you 15% off. It's $30 for a day per sport for one of us, or $99 per week. This will work on any of those from us. So if you want the NBA, which I see has been hot in the NBA and college basketball, that'll work on that, or NHL props. It'll work on any of that for either one of us. So make sure you get in on that Big Win 15. Also, now this will not work on the 2-for-1 football pass, but if you want the 2-for-1 football pass, this should give you all of our plays. We had a winning week last weekend. Get in at DocSports.com/Craig Arun to get you 14 plays this week. It comes out on Thursday, just $99 at this link. Also, don't forget about the premium levels. You can do it right here. You click the link in the description, get in. It's just $49.99 a month. You'll get all three levels. Or if you want Indian Cowboy, you'll get the first two levels at $19.99. Or if you just want to try us out, $4.99 gets you the linear level. All right, that takes care of all of the business at hand. Let's get to some picks. Knicks hosting the Orlando Magic. Knicks are just favored by 4, total of 228.5. What do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, the Magic, as you mentioned, are a 4-point dog here. New York comes off that huge win against Memphis, 133-120. I thought Memphis might sneak inside the cover there, but they didn't. New York has won 5 in a row to their credit, and give them some credit here. I mean, they have between Towns and Bridges and Anunoby and Brunson and Shamet, that's a pretty good team. And this team has now put together, 7 guys who scored at least, 8 points in the last game. Orlando comes in coming off a nice win against Portland, just a huge, huge win. If you can beat Portland these days, I'm pretty impressed with you. This team also beat the Celtics too earlier this year. Head-to-head, Orlando beat them 103-94, so New York does have a little bit of revenge coming in. But I got to be honest with you, I think these are pretty two evenly ranked teams, or two evenly played teams. I think Orlando's actually had quite a series of impressive wins. The only problem that worries me is Orlando has a lack of bench, which really worries me at times. Last game, they had 4 guys who scored at least 19 points, and then Black had 8 points, but that was about it. So that portion worries me a little bit. But I do think that 2 things will happen here. I think what will happen here is that Orlando's got a decent chance to win outright. I like the fact that Orlando scored 115 last game. I like the fact that New York put up 133. I think this game is going to be this game will go under. I think both these teams will be very familiar with each other. So rather than take the side here, I'm going to take the under between Orlando and New York. All right, Craig. Milwaukee 5.5-point chalk here on the road here against Charlotte. Keep in mind that Milwaukee is 7-4, and they come off a nice win against Dallas by 2, but they didn't cover the -3.5. So you didn't win unless you had them on the money line. Charlotte, of course, comes off 3 straight losses to Lakers, Miami, and New Orleans. Game surprising at +5.5 though as a dog. Who do you like here? They are probably one of the biggest public plays on the board. Milwaukee is going into tomorrow.
The problem for Charlotte's injuries. Lonzo Ball out, Miller's out. I mean, it's like the who's who. Connaughton, all these guys are on the list, so you don't know if they're day-to-day. I'd definitely wait till game time if you're going to want to play Charlotte. I do not want any piece of Charlotte's. I thought this would be the year. I thought Charlotte could have one of those years where they could at least be shouting distance to get into the play-in tournament. And then, young team like this, you never know. You win that play-in tournament, then you get you place the 1 or 2 seed, and then who knows? You just get that experience to move on to next year. I just don't think that's going to happen. Not because they just can't stay healthy. The Bucks, I just think they're a good team. They played terrible at Dallas. Came a huge comeback in the fourth quarter win. I think that happens again here. I think the Bucks will play a little slow early, and I think the second half they just pull away. Just too much Giannis and company. Give me the Bucks -5.5. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on all the great content we have here at Doc Sports. Next game, Chicago at Detroit. Really good game. Detroit had that miracle comeback where they were down last game to Washington, I believe, right? I believe that was and they had to go to overtime to win. They were a huge comeback. Now they face Chicago team that's pretty daggone good this year. Detroit's favored by 2.5, total 234.5. What do you like?
Yeah, it's Chicago is 6-4 and Detroit's 9-2. Detroit's having a great year. Chicago, remember, beat them 115-111 last time, but Chicago comes off 3 straight losses now to Milwaukee, Cleveland, and San Antonio. And it's a Chicago team that's led by Vujovic and Buzelis and Okoro and Herter and Jones and Dosunmu. It's a pretty good team. And keep in mind that they were ahead on those Spurs. It took a 32-19 fourth quarter by the Spurs to beat them by 4 points. Bulls are definitely disappointed from that game. Detroit comes into this game coming off a nice win against Washington, but they played like dog poop. They won by 2 points as an 11-point chalk in that game. That was a contest where Detroit needed to come back 40-31 in the fourth quarter and then had to win in overtime. I think what happens here is Detroit's going to look for revenge. I like Detroit on the money line. I think they played so horrible in their last game, as did the Bulls, but it's a lot worse for Detroit because they were favored by 12 and they almost lost to a lowly Washington team. I'm going to back the Pistons money line. Craig, Cleveland plus 5.5-point dog against Miami here. Both these teams are exactly 7-4. If you remember, Miami beat them in overtime earlier this year, so Cleveland has that revenge.
Last time out,
right? Direct home situation here. Miami, of course, has won 3 in a row, including an impressive win against Portland, so give them credit for that. And now Miami comes back home as a favorite after just beating this team. Do you think that as far as the injuries are concerned, Garland is still out and Mobley is still out for these Cavs? I will tell you in this last game against Miami, Mobley's listed out for this game.
Yeah,
Craig.
Mobley, Mitchell, all of them are out.
Right, and they both played last game, and they're both listed out for this game, and that's 49 points that they're going to miss from last game. Who do you like here?
Well, that last game was in Miami, so they're in South Beach too. So maybe these guys are partying on South Beach and be like, hey, we're going to take – I mean, they had a day off. Like, how are you not – don't get me started with the NBA and the rest. But that's the official for Mitchell is rest. That's the injury. Listen, I can't stand this type of thing. Like, you're a good team. You show up and you play. Every win counts. At the end of the year, if you end up with home court, that matters in the NBA playoffs. Give me the Heat here. I just think the Heat, they are playing good basketball. Cleveland's acting like they could just throw out some scrubs and still stay in this game. I think Miami uses it as a slap in their face. Give me Miami Heat minus 5.5. Next game, Memphis lost in New York last night. They did keep it closer than I thought they would. But still, this Memphis team is a dumpster fire with the whole John Morant thing. Boston lost by 2 in Philly last night. So they're both in back-to-back. Boston's favored by 6.5 total, 229.5. What do you like here?
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting that Memphis, and they continue to think that Memphis is going to show up. They continue to think that Memphis is going to figure it out. And I took them. I mean, I thought it was a good spot to take them. And they fell short here. They did come back and make it interesting near the end. They had a lot of depth in that game. They just couldn't put it together. They had like 10 guys well into the double digits, it looked like. I feel like Boston comes into this game coming off that loss against Philadelphia, only scoring 100 points in that game. And I like the fact that this total sets at 229.5. I think this game probably goes over. I think Memphis can be an active dog. I think Boston at the same time, only 100 points in the last game, which I believe is the lowest output they've had all year long. Not to mention the fact that Boston shot, 34% from three-point land. Give me the over here between Memphis and Boston. Craig, Golden State, 4.5-point dog again here against San Antonio. A lot of interesting things here. Steve Kerr goes back to San Antonio, where he was a player. He's also, very fond of Coach Popovich, where he learned a lot of his stuff. Golden State lost to the Spurs last time out. Golden State comes off a bad 24-point loss to Oklahoma City. It is very clear the youth difference versus the older difference here for the Warriors. That was quite evident there. We should have probably faded Golden State coming off their biggest win of the year. I missed that. But I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. Too much of the public was on it, and I should just rode the public there. But San Antonio comes off 3 big wins, huge comeback win against Chicago. Golden State comes off of obviously a loss. Who do you like here, plus the 4.5 or minus 4.5?
Well, Golden State's been terrible on the road. 1-6, I think, straight up and against the spread on the road. They've been terrible in back-to-backs. We have both of those occurring here tonight. I don't expect Curry, Green, and Butler all to play. They've been resting a lot in the back-to-backs. And I just think the Spurs team is playing really good basketball. I think they're the top 5 team in basketball. And I think they'll continue to prove it tonight. They have the depth. They have the youth. And they have the rest advantage. Give me the Spurs minus 4.5. I know it's going to be a big public play, but you have to fade the Warriors on the road, and you have to fade the Warriors when they're in a back-to-back, and both of those occur tonight. Next game, Washington at Houston. The Rockets are 17-point favorite with Kevin Durant and company. Total 233. Washington, that was your big cover last a couple of days ago. Do we get it happen again tonight?
Probably not. You have to. It's totally a situational thing. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Washington, of course, is 1-10. Keep in mind that Washington, of course, did cover against Detroit, but there's a reason why they are such a heavy dog today. Prior to this, they were only a 13.5-point dog kind of coming in against Cleveland. That was their biggest line. And, that was a game where Detroit had to come back 40-31. Washington, to their credit, did have, McCollum, put up 42 points in that game and Whitmore 20. And McCollum might be a Hall of Famer at this point because he's just going to sit there all day long and just shoot all day for this team. Houston, of course, comes into this game beating Milwaukee by 122 to 115. They do have Portland on deck, but what a huge line here. It's interesting because Cleveland did beat this team 115 to 48, and Boston beat them 107 to 136. I think that's sort of what works out here. I will tell you that Houston was down big, and they had to come all the way back against Milwaukee, and I think that's going to motivate them to start a little bit faster today. I got to be honest with you. I like Houston as the big favorite here, and there's a chance I might put this on my card tomorrow too. Craig, Portland is a minus 8.5-point favorite here against New Orleans. As you know, I'm pretty high on Portland. They're 5-5. Portland lost back-to-back games for the first time this year, actually, losing to Miami and Orlando. That Florida trip wasn't good. New Orleans coming off an ugly loss, 20-plus point loss to Phoenix, and they're coming back home. They are 2-8. I can tell you my personal lean over here is on Portland. What do you like here, though? Minus the 8.5 or the plus 8.5 or the total 232?
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I like New Orleans. They've covered 3 of their last 4 games. It's not like they're just been god awful. They're still, you said it a couple of days ago. Who is their training staff like, and who are they drafting that these guys are this injured that they missed this many games? And it's not just this year. It's going back to when Zion was drafted, 4 years ago.
I want to say something here too. I think there's a lot of nepotism in sports, obviously. This is my cousin, this is my sister's son, this is my brother's kid, my sister's kid. This is my grandson. This is my son, daughter.
But I don't know if that's the case with the Pelicans. The Pelicans have made so many bad decisions. It starts with bad, obviously these guys are just bad.
I'm telling you, man.
First Zion, it really goes back to the Zion pick. But everybody would have picked him, no matter who was.
You are not a good look. I have nothing against Smoothie King, but you're not a good organization if Smoothie King is your sponsor for your stadium. You're just not. I mean, how is your guy ever going to play if he's drinking smoothies all day and you're Smoothie King? It's just a horrible concept. You don't want your stadium to be called Smoothie King. That's how you know.
If they give you enough money, I don't know.
No, Smoothie King does not have that much.
I mean, Heinz Field had the Pittsburgh Steelers for a long time.
That's okay. Like Heinz is
Heinz a big name.
Maybe I'm being a little uppity here, but I mean, look, like Smoothie King does not have as much money as Heinz. Heinz is.
I don't know. Smoothie King's probably huge. I mean, not compared to Heinz.
Is Smoothie King publicly traded? Are we going to get back from tomorrow's comments are going to be hilarious.
I don't know.
Let me see if Smoothie King.
I think they probably are publicly traded.
It's not publicly traded.
Well, then the owner's probably loaded.
How much is Smoothie King worth? It says the annual revenue was $644 million in 2023.
It's a pretty big company. I mean, to get the naming rights to stadiums is not cheap. So, all right. So that I do like FYI. I do like the Pelicans. Small, nothing crazy. Plus 8.5 in that one. Hopefully, we see a better game from this Pelicans staff in this one.
How's it? Sign up for our free $60 of the premium selections, which is docsports.com/ICCT. You get free $60 of the premium selection so you can try us out. It's the best way to kind of thank us for all the hard work that we do, along with liking and subscribing and joining on YouTube Premium.
Game, Suns at the Mavericks.
Bye, Nico.
Why is the Mavericks favored in this one?
Because I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
-1 total 228. What do you like?
Yeah, so Dallas lost him last year, but really, Dallas is very excited that Nico Harrison has been fired.
Well, Nico doesn't play.
Well, it doesn't matter. So, Dallas is super excited. I guarantee the fan base is going to go nuts for this game. They're so happy.
Well, the fans don't play.
I know. So, this is a Dallas team. Honestly, it's almost like they tanked the Milwaukee game just to get this guy fired because Milwaukee outscored him 37-26 to win by 2 in that game. So after that loss, they fired him, and which is so funny because the Doncic trade looks stupid now. I mean, the whole thing just looks a debacle. It almost looks like the league fixed it in some ways. But it's just really interesting. But I will tell you that Dallas, at the end of the day, they did get Anthony Davis back for that game, right? No, they didn't get Davis back for that game. That's right. Um, Davis currently is listed for this game. Um, Let me see what Davis's listed is.
He
Uh,
must be day to day, at least
yeah,
on
he's
play.
listed day to day, I think. So I think he'll probably come back for this game. Phoenix, of course, beat New Orleans, beat the Clippers twice. They have Indiana on deck. Phoenix has been playing really well, as we
Yeah.
talked about. But I think Dallas probably has the edge here. I think just too much going on here. There's too much excitement with Nico getting fired. I think Davis comes back probably for this game. I'm going to back the Mavs. Craig, Lakers +7 dog against OKC. OKC, of course, beat them 136 to 120 last time. Lakers feeling good. They're 8-3. They're winning ball games. Their lineup is pretty good. Ayton, Smart, Hachimura, Doncic,
Yep.
Anthony Reeves, Vanderbilt. I totally forgot that LeBron James plays for this team. I forgot about it. And that's how quickly our world turns. And then Oklahoma City, of course, comes off that big win against Golden State. Who do you like here?
You're going to get our channel shut down. LeBron James is pretty powerful. He's going to be like, I got to get this taken down.
If LeBron James comes after us.
Thunder won big last night, so they didn't have to extend minutes, but it's still a back-to-back spot against a Lakers team that's feeling themselves a little bit. That they want to know how they stack up against the best. And Luka, he's the skinny Luka. I know Robert here at Doc Sports hates Luka. He thinks he's a huge loser. I don't have that opinion. I think he's still figuring it out. He's still at that point of his career where he's got to figure out, like, okay, how can I take my ridiculous talent and make everybody? And I think he's starting to figure that out this year. I'm going to take the Lakers here. And I hate LeBron, so I'm happy that they're winning without him. I think the Lakers have a shot to win this game. At worst, I think they keep it close. And I
agree with you.
Sprinkle a little in the first half too.
I think this game means a lot
had
for
some big
JJ,
comebacks. Not just JJ, but I think Luka. And it's like he's thinking like, because if you would do all those wins against teams that aren't the best, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Got to beat the best to be the best.
Yeah,
and they get to face them today.
Yeah, and they get them in a back-to-back, so they get them, like almost as like Spartacus with the, if they put the knife in the side and they're like limping around. Can they beat them a little less than full speed here? Next game, your Hawks, nice win at the Clippers. A couple of nice wins. 3 in a row, right? Nice win at the Clippers last time out. Atlanta is favored by 3.5 at Sacramento. The news came out, I think yesterday or today, that this team is probably going to go full tank mode and try to trade all these veterans away and gather draft picks. Doesn't sound good there for Sacramento. Can Atlanta get the win here?
Yeah, man. Atlanta actually beat them 109-108 last year. I was impressed with the Hawks win against the Clippers. I told you they were going to win, and they did. And they beat the Lakers recently, too, by 20, which, of course, the Lakers fans all jumped on me. Were like, oh, Icy's just saying it because he's a Hawks fan. And I'm like, and I made a funny comment. I was like, look, man, I'm not here to try to impress you guys or to be a yes man. I'm just trying to tell you who I think is going to do well. Based on the numbers. But, the Hawks, to their credit, shot 45% against the Clippers. So they obviously won by 3 points. The Kings, as you mentioned, they're playing great against the Nuggets right now, coming off that 117 and 144 loss against Minnesota. I think it's tied 44 all in the second quarter. I don't know how it's going to shake out. But I do like Atlanta here. I think Atlanta is going to do well on this road trip. I think Sacramento, there's a lot of questions for Sacramento. They just have too much. Obviously, they went with Levine, DeRozan, Achiuwa, and Sabonis. They have a good team. It's just not gelling, And I think the Hawks are doing much better here. I'm going to take the Hawks here. All right, Craig. Denver only a minus 2-point favorite against the Clippers. We keep thinking the Clippers are going to show up, and they don't. Denver won this game 120 by 20 points or so points last year. They've won 4 in a row, beating Sacramento, Miami, Golden State, and Indiana. The Clippers, of course, have lost now 5 in a row. Maybe some big shakeups are coming here. I want to let you know on that Clippers game in the box score, keep in mind that Harden played, Zubac played, Batum played, but they have injuries, and I think that's part of the issue here. Leonard is still listed as day-to-day as injury management. Bradley Beal with the hip. Kawhi Leonard, man, it's going to be so frustrating to be the owner. I mean, this load management thing, the league's got to do something. What would these guys do, Craig, if the league just kind of shut them down and said, we're not going to pay you? Like, what would they do? You know what I mean? Like, I just think that at some point there's going to be a commissioner here who comes in after, and maybe similar to David Stern or whatever it is, that's just going to be like, this is going to have to stop.
Maybe. Maybe. I think the big question, Denver's in a back-to-back as we're recording this, past midnight here, Eastern time. They're tied on the road tonight. So at Sacramento, by the way. So Sacramento is also in the back-to-back from the former game. I think the big question here for the Clippers is just the Kawhi. Because James Harden has actually played very well since coming over from Philly. I mean, he's really been the one guy that you can depend on. Like, he's been very durable, played most games, but Kawhi basically plays 1 out of 3 games. How does your player that you're paying max dollars, how do you win like that? I just think you have to continue to fade the Clippers until something changes. And I'm not as worried. The Denver team, they don't rest a lot of players, even on back-to-backs. The Joker, you look at him, you're like, oh, maybe that's a guy. He doesn't rest. He plays the majority of the games, even in back-to-backs. I think they'll come to play here in LA. I like them -2, no problem. I'm going to fade the Clippers. Don't forget, if you want to get in on our top plays, don't forget, we got that 15% off promo code. It only works for us too, this code, Big Win 15. This will work on anything but that football 2-for-1 pass, but you can get the NBA pass for a day for $30, or NHL or props or any of the daily sports. You can get a week pass. It's $99, so you can use that on that as well for any of those sports. Or if you want to go get to the football pass, this is the 50% already marked. $99, get you our football plays for the week. DocSports.com/Craig Arun. And don't forget about the Premium Plus levels. Click the link to get in. This is the true edge. And you can get the level 3 for just $49.99 a month and get in on all the picks for that at YouTube.
Remember, I went 8-1. So I had won 7 in a row in the NBA. Now, I forgot to plug this in there, but yeah, 7-1 NBA run. Craig, feel free to put that on a little thing. 7-1 NBA run, or 7-0, 7 straight NBA winners. We had our 141st golden week. So winning NBA season and college basketball, 6-1 or 6-2 to start the college basketball season. Jump on NBA, jump on college basketball. Got to jump on YouTube.
Use this code, though, and that gets you 15% off. So it's a great deal for you. All right, guys, that's what we have. We'll be back again tomorrow with NBA. And, of course, you check out our college. We have the college football games. We nailed both of them on Tuesday. So we've got the MAC action for Wednesday, both of those games covered. We've got all the football plays already up for the NFL and college football. So make sure you check out all the videos here at YouTube from Indian Cowboy and myself. Good luck. See you again tomorrow.